peace must be our goal and our guide. And all we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
The ingredients of a redemption strategy, if they are done in an opposite manner, can create very dangerous conflict at the end. Are we likely to forget what we saw in 2007 early June, when drums of war were being sung by the same tanks, the same alternatives, the same statements? Do we forget history so much, so quickly? How will history judge us harshly if we repeat what is only 14 years ago, one of the worst nightmares that the people of Kenya had, one of the worst vocabulary that they have never witnessed in such a magnitude? It is therefore very important that at this angle, at this era, at this juncture, what is needed in Kenya today is a redemption strategy. President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga initiated what we call a redemption strategy. Any conflict resolution expert will agree that a redemption strategy looks for areas that have decayed, areas that have broken down, souls that are desperate, souls that are violent, souls that have gone forgiven, desperate, state of despondency coming in, creation of class struggle can create the worst type of conflict that you have ever seen in our history. We therefore call upon the people of Kenya themselves to look at these 5 keywords. 1, accountability. When the government talks of wiping out corruption, support them. That's accountability. 2, truth telling. When the churches receive rotten money and they send rotten money to God through prayers, you create a gap. 3, reconciliation. When a country does not reconcile the past, the current, and perhaps the production of the past and the current, there will be a future. The country cannot have a good future. 4, restitution. The amount of damage caused by several factors in Kenya, therefore, create an urgent need for restitution of society, restitution of morals, restitution of our national ethics, ethos. That's why BBI, with its 9 points, will work as a restituting body to find out where you went wrong and to bring it to a shape. Renewal of hope is to restitute. Equally, the 5th one is reparations. There are still people, and there are still those who harbor the past the past injuries. There are still those who still look for their loved ones. There are still those who want their houses back. There are still those who see smoke in the houses where they used to live for 50 years. Have we reparated them? Have we brought back sanity? And finally, in a redemption strategy, if we do all this and find out what makes us quarrel every day, what makes Kenyans quarrel every day, what makes Kenyans have bent necks, walking with their necks like this, as if they want to go and kill somebody, is elections. Have you cleaned your elections? Does the Kenyan election need a redemption? The answer is yes. Do you need the mechanism to be redempted? The answer is yes. Kenya needs new electoral mechanisms. The one that will not bring and breed about violence, but that will usher us to a new era of tranquility, where the loser greets the winner and the winner greets the loser. The time will come when you need to have two papers, one for winning, one for losing. If candidates in Kenya can hold those two papers when they go to elections, this country will rise and shine again. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, my people. God bless you. God bless you.
A very good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us. Earlier on, we were showing some live images there from the BBI Secretariat, where Junet Mohammed and also Nick Salat were able to capture what they were saying there, and that is they were now heading over to the IEBC to hand over the signatures that has since far been collected for this referendum, or pending referendum, or looming referendum that is expected to happen next year. And so far, they were able to collect about 5.2 million signatures from Kenyans. And from what we heard yesterday, after the IEBC has gone through those signatures, they'll be able to see if the names match the IDs and all that. So once they're able to verify, perhaps if at the end of the verification process, what we had yesterday, Jeanette say, is that maybe they'll remain with about 3 point something after the cleaning up of the signatures. So that is something that is happening. And once they get to the IEBC, then we shall go there live and see what's happening there and get ourselves up to date. So, of course, our topic for today is still on BBI, because what else can we talk about? This is a very important national conversation that we all must have. And we've been looking at what has been happening and the new developments and the new conditions and the new, people are just keep shifting positions. And the other day we saw also now ODM is pushing for some of the changes that they had initially put forth for the BBI steering committee that were not included. And, Raila had come there and said, it's okay, because at the end of the day, this is not about one particular individual, but instead it's for all Kenyans. So compromise was very necessary. So for them bringing up again these issues, what will that mean? And of course, Deputy President William Ruto also has been having a problem and a bone of contention on certain issues and irreducible minimums that have kept shifting, and now we don't know where he stands today. But now, as it is, should we go by the law? That process is closed, and at this stage, that process has reached, and no new amendments can be made. So how will that sit with that, a fraction of politicians especially? And we also saw yesterday the Catholic Church leaders, they are coming out and calling for consensus. So do they not understand, according to the law, that is too late, or is there something that can be done? So joining me for this conversation is Douglas Kirimi from Meru. Douglas, good morning.
Good morning, Miriam. Good morning to the crew at our headquarters in Nairobi. Good morning to all our viewers across the world. And also good afternoon, good evening, depending on where they are getting this broadcast from. And thank you for having me on the show.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here, and also be joined by Daniel Osonga from Nairobi. Daniel, good morning.
Yes, a very good morning, Miriam Ogutu at our headquarters in Nairobi. A very good morning to my good friend Douglas Karimi Bundi in Meru, our viewers here in Kenya, Africa, and the rest of the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on the time zone that they are watching us from.
All right, very well. And Jovan shall be joining us in a very short bit. But before he gets here, of course, earlier on our morning show, we were looking at President Uhuru Kenyatta's developmental agenda. So we do not get into the BBI conversation because we know this is a conversation that requires a lot of time. So there were some stories that were carried out in the dailies here that we were not able to touch on. I left them for right now. And as I mentioned there earlier, we saw the BBI team, the committee there at the BBI headquarters. And now they're heading to the IEBC, the electoral body here in Kenya, and they're going to hand over the signatures there for verification. Then after that, we shall proceed to the next process. So today on the Daily Nation, page 8 of the Daily Nation, that is where we shall start our conversation. And even as we look at our topic of the day, why changes to the BBI are meant to cause anarchy and not consensus. Now, the Building Bridges Initiative Secretariat yesterday slammed the door on last-minute changes proposed by Orange Democratic Movement leader Raila Odinga and Deputy President William Ruto when it announced plans to present signatures endorsing the drive to the electoral agency for verification. The decision provoked furious reactions from the team leading Uhuru. Ruto talks to reach a consensus. BBI Secretariat Co-Chairman Junet Mohammed, National Assembly Minority Whip, and former Dagoretti Member of Parliament Dennis Waweru said the initial verification of the signatures was complete, adding that the booklets will be presented to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission together with bill as launched on November 25th. I'm just curious, yesterday while we were looking at the newspapers there, I think it was on the Star newspaper, yesterday's Star newspaper. I have it here with me, and BBI ODM pushes for fresh amendments, and they have the whole of the list that they wanted included there. And they knew very well that this was not going to be the case, Douglas. What do you think ODM sought to achieve by pulling that last-minute move?
Miriam, thank you for that question. I'm actually getting a glimpse of why ODM would want to pull such a thing yesterday. Remember, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga is not just any other partner in the Adishek. He is a co-principal in the BBI project. And also, remember, the Deputy President William Ruto has been coming up with new demands for amendments and also the changes that he would have wanted this BBI process to be able to accommodate them. But now, at the last minute, ODM party that is led by Right Honorable Raila Odinga just wakes up and demands for new changes to the document, whereas the Deputy President has been making new demands every now and then. They came the last minute also to add to the top, on top of what the demands have been made by the Deputy President and his team. So when the BBI Secretariat slammed the door yesterday, so it will be a win-win situation that the Deputy President William Ruto has been talking about. ODM has lost at the last minute of amendments, and also Deputy President has lost. But before amendments from ODM were put on the BBI, before amendments from the Right Honorable Raila Odinga have also been captured, and also from Deputy William Ruto side have been captured. And at this point in time, when both the council and also the church and other people have been calling for consensus rules, it will be including ODM. We lost. We wanted to have this new amendment, but we lost. Everyone has lost. Now we need to also cooperate because
Douglas,
our initial.
Douglas, what I hear you saying is that ODM's move, because they knew well and good that no changes will be accepted where the BBI process had already reached that stage, no new changes. And that is according to the law. No new changes are going to be accepted. Otherwise, then they would have to take it back to Kenyans and collect new signatures. But they went ahead and started making these demands anyway. So what I'm hearing you to be saying is that this was just a formality. ODM did not just mean it. But we know some of these things they had actually handed over. These are some of the things they wanted included on the BBI but were not included. So, yeah.
Miriam, I want to make that point very clear. It was a very political statement that ODM was making, and also it was a very political statement because we have heard the Right Honorable Raila Odinga make his stand known. He has always said that there will be no more changes, including when the things looked like there will be changes. It is only the president who would soften the stand about it because he was very categorical. This is the way that we shall go, and we have decided, and there can be no more changes. So ODM cannot contradict its own party leader. So this was just a political statement to be able to sanitize the whole issue when everyone else will be talking about amendments and everything. ODM had to make a formal political statement, and because they knew that the Right Honorable Raila Odinga would not entertain his own party, that would contradict his own statement. So the party, I think they played public relations on Deputy President because he has been playing the same card with the whole process so that he can play the daring games around. And also, Miriam, we can be able to give him an opportunity to have a taste of his own medicine. Because when his views have been captured since Bomas, he's been making new demands every day, including I'm waiting when the BBI signatures are presented formally, like they are being done now at IBC. These people are going to make new demands again. But the ODM has dealt a good political card on the Deputy President side because they kept saying, yesterday they were saying actually ODM has been shortchanged, ODM has been now
in truth, Douglas, these are points actually ODM, because ODM as a party being led by opposition leader there, Raila Odinga, who are the author of this process, actually took their views to the steering committee. And that is the difference between perhaps them and the Deputy President, who never bothered to take his views. So ODM is saying, hey, you keep insisting on some of these changes which have been accommodated, and you never bother to take your views to the steering committee. But here we are. These are some of the things that we took there, and all of them are not captured. So what, Daniel, I'm hearing Douglas there to say, this ODM coming out, they knew very well the process where it has reached. No changes are going to be allowed in the BBI report because of the signature that had already been collected and all that, but they still went ahead. So what Douglas, they're saying, this was just a political statement that was meant to, he said, sanitize, and it was a PR gimmick there. And now, of course it will not be allowed, and so they'll tell the DPC even our views, which actually were already presented before, but still we're demanding for it. They've not been met, so now you have no grounds to complain. Do you think this is what is going on, Daniel?
Absolutely, Miriam. And what ODM was doing yesterday was to wittingly send a message to the Deputy President and his allies that they don't have a monopoly over issuing threats, ultimatums, and new demands over the BBI. Because if they were allowed at the last minute to submit their views as Tanga, then everyone else, including ODM, including the church, including even chamas, the border associations, everyone will have that right to submit their recommendation to the BBI. So they were just in essence telling them that whenever you think that you have the chest, the stomach to really outbox everyone and use your authorities to force in new recommendation in the BBI process the process had already taken root. It means that also we as ODM and other members of Jubilee who are not allied to the president will come on and be able to bring another demands, and then so that's such kind of sequencing could continue until now. We do not have even a consensus, but what we will have is chaos and some kind of anarchy. So that I was sending yesterday. But unfortunately, I saw even my good friend Dennis Itumbi did not really get the point that he said that BBI has its owners, and that is why ODM is trying to force back the recommendation. We were able to sacrifice some of these recommendations so that we can be able to allow you in. So if you keep nagging us, to accommodate more recommendations from your end, as while as we were able to sacrifice something for you, then we can as well bring also more and more recommendations on the table, so that we make it quite untenable. So that was a political statement, and as Douglas says, it has worked, because now that one is a win-win situation. ODM was able to bring some recommendations, some were rejected. The deputy president, some of the recommendations that he gave at Bomas were taken in, and some which he has tried to bring on the table at the last minute have also been rejected. So to me, that is a win-win situation.
All right, very well. So very interesting here. Daily Nation has captured that the decision after the Building Bridges Initiative Secretariat yesterday said there will be no last-minute changes. Even the proposals that ODM had, asked for, they said no, nothing is going to change. We're not going to add a full stop, nor even a comma. That's it. We're done with this process. So apparently, according to what the Daily Nation here is recording, the decision provoked furious reactions from the team leading Uhuru Ruto talks to reach a consensus. I remember yesterday, was it yesterday or the other day, that you were talking about the back-sided talks that were ongoing between Uhuru's team and Ruto's team, who are trying to work on a consensus. So yesterday, after the Secretariat came out and just made it clear, apparently they were very furious. Why do you think they are furious? Why they had a whole 2 years to give their recommendations?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, Miriam.
A very good morning to you, Javan, and welcome to the show. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good morning to our viewers, wherever they are watching us from. Thank you very much. And Miriam, when you have looked at this keenly, I was listening to Douglas and Daniel make their contributions, and I'm quite in agreement with what they're saying. Sometimes in politics, there are some games that you play in the minds of people, and it's about strategy. And when you come up presented to IBC, they underrated the process, and they thought, because of the politics of this country, they did foresee a situation whereby President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga could sustain that kind of a mutual relationship to a point where they are today. That is why they were painting it in bad faith. That is why they came up with all manner of wording, terming it as a Beba Baba Ikulu. They came up with the Bluebird Initiative. All these manner of things was to taint the picture and to be in bad faith, so that it looks like a process that was to benefit the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. But that was not the case, because Kenyans were also given a chance to present their proposals, to take their recommendations to the steering committee, to the task force that was formed by the president. And these people, those who are opposing the process, they didn't do that. They didn't take their proposals, and they had 2 good years to do that. And when they have realized that this thing is serious, now they are coming up with new proposals. And Miriam, we must thank the people, the Handshake Brothers, for coming up and accommodating these views, even at that point when they were all about to accommodate those views, even when we had the BBI launched. Therefore, it is quite significant that these people, as they talk about it, as they call it, an inclusive kind of agenda, then they have proven beyond any doubts that this BBI is something that is inclusive, because at the end of the day, we have seen them accommodate the reservations that the Deputy President had on the BBI process, and that was about the IBC, the Judicial Ombudsman Office, and so on. Therefore, we expected them to support, because at least there was something that was about them that was captured, that they had reservations with. And Miriam, that is something that we see the team, as it means inclusivity, that is something that have come out to play. But lately, the demands that they are making, they are quite unachievable, because they are making proposals that are quite to delay the process. But as you have seen, the ODM came up with their proposals, and this was a political message. So at the end of the day, when we continue with the journey, we also join other teams by saying, we also had some ideas that were not captured. We also had ideas that were not everybody, Kenyans, Miriam, you must understand, if we were given a chance, we could take more ideas, more proposals, but we reach a point where we accommodate the best and which cut across. And that is what the BBI document is all about. Therefore, as we move on, we'll see even the ODM telling the Tangatangas that we also had reservations as you are, but we support because of the 80 or 90% that is good for this country.
Right.
And I feel like going on, because we have already presented the signatures to the IBC, then the journey has, the train has left the station. And if you want to catch up with the train, you can use a taxi, as Junaid Mohammed has said.
All right, very well. So you see, Ruto, two can actually play this game, even three. You understand? It's politics. Okay. So now, the BBI Secretariat co-chairman, Junaid Mohammed of the National Assembly Minority Whip, and former Dagoretti South Member of Parliament said that the initial verification of the signatures was complete, adding that the booklets will be presented to the Independent Electoral. And as I told you there at the beginning of the show, they're already there. Initially, they were having a press conference at the BBI Secretariat headquarters, but now they're headed to the IEBC to hand over the signatures right now as you speak. And this is what also Waweru said. That there will be no changes to the bill by way of addition or subtraction. There is agreement on that, Mr. Weru said at the Secretariat headquarters in Nairobi yesterday. So now, Nandi Senator Samson Gerald Gay and Alef, the DP, said their demands must be met. Our demands are unchanged. We want fine-tuning of some proposals, including the return of the 47 women representatives and multiple choice referendum. This seems to have negated on one of the other key demands of having the referendum the same day as the election. I think even themselves thought this is ridiculous. There's no way this is going to be possible, Javan. Or why, Douglas, why do you think they're not asking for that anymore?
Miriam, like I've always said before, the camp from the Deputy President, William Ruto, is not a people that have a plan on where they have decided they shall go. They don't know exactly what they want to do. This is my major part why I think they have always been having a secret card on delaying this process, because we have seen them play a dilly-dally on this process, and also, Miriam, we have seen them sabotage this process for over 2 years, and also they have also been able to, first of all, fund anti-BBI programs as late as the last week when the BBI process was being launched the BBI report was being launched at Bomas, and afterwards they have also given demands that they have not been able to be consistent with, and also actually they have been able to come up with procedures that are not necessary for this process at this point in time. They have had over 2 years for them to be able to force everyone that they have had 2 years to force the BBI Secretariat or taxi force to accommodate their views. But what we have seen is an about turn at the 11th minute, at the 11th hour, where they have come out clearly giving out demands and also changing their tune from the 5 or 6 issues that they wanted captured at the BBI. They came to the 2 issues on the multiple choice for referendum and the women reps, and also they wanted the election to be held on the same day with the general election for the BBI referendum. Mm-hmm. And also we've seen them not consistent on issues that they've been able to raise. Miriam, we cannot keep people that have not decided, they have not made up their mind on what they want. And actually, these ultimatums and threats that they are giving, that one is not possible, Miriam. But one of the things that I think the reason why they are not able to, number one, oppose this document consistently is that their plan is also to keep destroying the process, because they saw that they cannot be able to join the bandwagon. The only way they can do is to stop it. And actually, they saw when they ignore this process, the Constitution of Kenya 2010 is going to be changed, and the Deputy President and his allies will have lost. Another perspective on this is that the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Mr. William Ruto, thinks that his followers are people that he can be able to manage without them being able to think for themselves, because they have seen him. He has no clear plan. He has no roadmap. He has not countered BBI with different proposals. He has only been able to oppose what has been proposed and also make a very unfounded claims on BBI. He said BBI, the first instance he was saying BBI was created to be able to create positions for some people, especially the Right Honorable Raila Odinga at the top. And he told the Kenyan masses and also the population that you people of Kenya, you deserve empowerment tools like wheelbarrows, lakes, and pangas. You don't deserve the BBI process that is going to be able to grow this country and also entrench the things like youth commission that the youth can be able to maybe amend in future and put the issues there entrenched in the constitution. He wanted handouts so that we can be able to be bowing at the demigod at Karen, so that we can be receiving wheelbarrows from him and his masses around. He didn't want the people of Kenya to be empowered. He didn't want the youth of this country to have their issues mainstreamed and also put in the constitution. This is a deputy president who has also defied his boss so that this process can be able to fail. The people of Kenya in their millions who have been able to come out and also append their signatures, they cannot, so that he can make their voices irrelevant. And these are the same people that is coming out to ask for votes for. And remember, Miriam, this is the same man who has not appended his own signature on the BBI process, and he has not endorsed the process, but he is making demands on something that he doesn't believe in. And also, Miriam, we need to also call the hypocrisy of the deputy president. His signature has not been submitted today. The team and also their followers, their signatures have not been submitted at IBC today. How can we have inclusivity? How can we be able to have a consensus on something they don't believe in, on something they can only oppose on the basis of our own proposals? The proposals that we have made is the same proposals that we've been able to come out and trim. They cannot trim our proposals, and they cannot be able to come out as people that want to unite this country if they cannot even, if Deputy President done a change of heart and also adopted the BBI report. This is the noble thing that he would have done as a man of character. But the political conman has come out clearly to be able to sabotage this process. He has not appended his own signature, Miriam. He has not supported this process the way it needs to be supported. The only thing the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya has been able to do is to come to the proposals that Kenyans and in their millions and their signatures. The only thing he has been able to do is to come out and also oppose the proposals that Kenyans have made. He has not been able to make new alternatives. He has not been able to offer his followers an alternative. And we are asking him, can he follow the BBI signatures before they are taken by IBC formally, so that he can append his signature, that of his followers, those leaders that follow him, because we cannot allow inclusivity to be talked about, Miriam, when they can be able, when they are only amending and also proposing trimming of our own proposals and our own signatures, making our process irrelevant, Miriam.
Okay, very well. Thank you so much. And Douglas, I don't know if your people are watching today. Remember, your fans from Meru there. I don't know if they're watching today. If they are, hello and thank you for tuning in. Now, Daniel, Cheryl Gay, Nandi Senator Samson Cheryl Gay, who is a very close ally to the DP, has said these demands must be met, but from where it stands right now, according to the law of the referendum in this country, and according to how things are expected to go, there's no chances of that document getting any new changes, so anything being added or removed in that BBI report as it is right now, unless something happens and outside of what is expected, and then we'll have a different story to talk about. So where does that leave Deputy President William Ruto and his team, as they're saying the demands must be met? And now they only have 2. Remember, they had a couple the other week, they had 5, now it's just 2. What does this leave them?
Yes, Miriam, I think for the Deputy President and his allies, they are so much destined to master the no-come, and that is where they belong, because the Deputy President is a politician who is known to have never supported any kind of constitutional reforms in this country. He never fought for the multi-party democracy. He never fought for the 205 constitutional change attempt that President Mwai Kibaki tried to make back then. He never supported the 2010 new constitution. He has not shown any willingness to support the BBI. And he was among the people who are besmirking the BBI process, calling it all kinds of names, giving it a trivial angle, and selling kind of pessimism amongst his supporters and the rest of the country. And therefore, even for a majority of pundits who will tell you about the Deputy President's stance on the BBI, will tell you that this is a man who is seeking to support the BBI report because he seemed to have been cornered. He doesn't have the capacity to oppose the amendments that have been, the proposals that have been put in the BBI. And therefore, even his concern about the changes that ought to be made and the proposals that he needs to submit to the task force are quite not so genuine. He's being sanctimonious. And yesterday I was talking to a friend who told me, you know, like these people are the same people. When we listened to Gladys Boschole yesterday talking, she says in one corner of her mouth, she says that the BBI is very unnecessary. They do not want such particular engagement at this moment when you're having COVID. It does not benefit the common man. Again, on another corner of her mouth, she's saying that they need to be given a chance so that they also become part of BBI. Then that poses the fundamental question. Why then would you want to be part of a process that you do not believe in? Why would you castigate a process during the day and at night you want to be part of it? In fact, you want to hijack it entirely. So to me, these are people who do not have a stand. They are there to cause confusion, and also their supporters really do not have any principality. They do not have any virtue. They do not have any formidable reviews that they can be put on the table so that they are considered by the
Daniel, I'm afraid I'm had to cut you short because I'm told that the BBI Secretariat already has arrived at the IEBC, and before we continue with this conversation, I think it will be important for us to go there.
Kama umebadilisha maoni yako, waambia wananchi ya Kenya nimebadilisha maoni yangu. Usidanganya hawa ya kwamba hii process illegitimate, hii process iko na shida. Hii ni process ambayo wewe mwenyewe ulianzisha na ulikuwa na sisi pamoja. Na umechangia na maoni yako iko hapa ndani. So kama umebadilisha maoni yako, just be honest, tell Kenyans that I have changed my position. There is nothing wrong with that. But don't tell Kenyans that you have never been part and parcel of this process. Secondly, sisi hatutaki mtihani ya shule. Sisi tunataka tupeleke hii maoni mbele ya wananchi ya Kenya ili Wakenya waamue kama hii ni maoni ambayo walipeana ama sio maoni wamepeana. Na hakuna fujo, hii ni kitu ya siku moja tu. Mtu atatoka kwake nyumbani, ataenda, apige kura, jioni arudi kwake nyumbani kama ameridhika, na either yes itashinda ama la itashinda. Na sisi hatugawi Kenya kwa njia ya yes ama no. Wale wamegawa nchi wanajulikana. Ni wale wanasema hawa ni viongozi hasla. Na wengine wanasema ni tajiri. Dynasties and hustlers. Wale wanagawa nchi ni wale wanagawa nchi kwa hiyo njia. Lakini BBI inataka kuleta Wakenya yote pamoja. Kenya ikue kitu moja, nchi iendelee mbele ili tusikue na mvurutano kuelekea mbele. Na nimeamini ya kwamba Wakenya watapigia kura, watasupporti document kwa sababu kuna manufaa mingi iko ndani ya hii document kwa wananchi ya Kenya. Kwa hiyo machache na mengi, tunaelekea safari ya IBC sasa. Wale walikuwa na shuku, the doubting Thomases, ambayo walikuwa nafikiri hii kitu haisongi, sasa leo mmeona tena, leo mzuri jua iko, sio siku ya mvua. Hadhara, jua iko wazi, tumelete hapa. Sasa sisi tumeanza safari tukiongozwa na President Uhuru Kenyatta na Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. Hii safari itafika paka mwisho na tutafika paka kwa referendum, Mungu akikubali. Kwa hiyo machache nataka patia Secretary General ya KANU pia aseme moja mbili kabla sijaita chairman.
Just minimize.
Yeah. Yeah. Ndio hii imetoka. Haya. Thank you. Mimi nimepatiwa jukumu, asante sana Mheshimiwa Junet, kuzungumza kwa niaba ya hao viongozi wako hapa ambayo wamepata nafasi kuhudhuria hii sherehe muhimu sana. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta na the Right Honorable Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga kwa kutufikisha hapa. Na pili ni kushukuru timu ya Waweru na Junet, ongera na timu ya Secretariat ya National kwa kuhakikisha kwamba yale signature yote ambaye yalisanywa kutoka pembe zote za Kenya imeidhinishwa kwa Secretariat, lakini kutoka hapa tunaichukua kwa IEBC
na hiyo ni demokrasia ambaye tunafuata. Tumesanya na sasa secretariat imehakikisha tuko na hiyo 1 milioni.
Na mtazamaji, huyo ni Nick Salat, katibu mkuu wa
All right, welcome back. Well, that is a press conference that happened a little bit earlier there with Junet, and also that is Nick Salat of KANU there giving their opinion and saying, Junet there said that those who are calling for some changes to be made in this BBI report, they should first come out clearly and tell Kenyans their position on this BBI. Are they now supporting this process or not? They should first make that clear. And also, Junet went ahead and said that these multiple choices that the DP and his team has been asking. He did not mention him by name, but we know that is what the DP and his team said last week after meeting members of parliament allied to him at his current official residence there. One of the key things that they were demanding is for this referendum to have multiple choices. So Junet there is saying that this is not a national exam, and I'm told the team has already arrived at the IEBC. So let's just watch that, then I'll come back with my team and we shall continue with this conversation.
Kuja na lori mbili ambaye imebeba boxes ambaye tutapeleka juu kwa IEBC, na pia tumekuja hapa na signatures ambaye tunataka kupeana kwa commission. And soft copy pia ndio hii tumebeba. We have brought both hard copy and soft copy. Na ningependa kushukuru sana commission kwa kuchukua nafasi hii, kukubali kuchukua sahihi yetu kwa siku ya leo. Kwa hayo machache, chairman kuja tukabidhi commission signature. Chairman, karibu, simama huko basi.
I wanted to read the letter.
No, there is no need. The letter is addressed to him. Haya ndio hii.
Remove your mask. Toa mask kidogo, dakika mbili tu. Dakika mbili tu ya picture.
Nafikiri hapa ndio mnaweza kupiga makofi wale ambao mumeambatana. Makofi mazuri tafadhali. Makofi mazuri tena tafadhali. Asante. Vile vile anakabidhiwa sahihi ambazo zimejumuishwa. Ndugu, naomba usonge.
Chairman, katika hii box ambaye tunakabidhi sahihi iko na uzito kabisa. Hii ni high power. Katika hii box kuna signature moja, Kenya 1, His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Pia katika hii box, Chairman, kuna signature ingine ya nguvu ya former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga. Na pia ndani hapa iko signature ya party leaders wote 10. Na pia kuna signature ya my co-chair Junet Mohamed na ya Dennis Waweru and Janet from the secretariat and Mrs. Kilemi. Hao ni promoter. So all this in high power. Naweza chukua hizi zingine ziko kwa gari pale, ziko kwa bus mbili. A total of 4.4 million signatures. 4.4 million signatures ambazo zimetoka kwa wana Kenya wote. Asante sana. Na ukimaliza hata signature milioni moja unaweza tupatia go ahead tuende kwa county assembly, because we have given you 400% more than the minimum requirement. Asante sana. So be waiting for your favorable reply. Okay. Na pia for ease of processing this verification, sisi ni watu digital. And because we want you to do it within a very short time, tumeleta hapa the soft copy of all that we have corrected, so that you can be able to do the work much easier. Asante sana, Chairman. So, ningetaka sasa tukitoka hapa to sanitize so that you can confirm the receipt of the 4.4 million signatures, both in hard and soft copy. And we'll be waiting for your response within a very short, reasonable time. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. The promoters of the BBI initiative, I believe the two of you are the promoters. Yeah, so we have, you have seen we have received the sample signatures. There'll be a team waiting for you upstairs to go through the processes of handing over the main bulk of the signatures. As a commission, our work starts here. After receiving the signatures, which has been done, plus a soft copy, and which will also enable us to do our work. It will save us the trouble of typing out the hard copies. We shall now proceed and request for a budget from the National Treasury. As soon as we get the budget and the exchequer, then we shall now get a team. Our team is already available. We have a referendum committee which will undertake the exercise of signature verification. But of course, we shall not commence until we get a budget and exchequer from the National Treasury. So that is one. Number two, and this for the purpose of the media and to avoid speculation, the Commission will be giving periodic updates on this particular process. So we shall alert you when we shall be giving those updates on the process. So please don't speculate on what is happening or what's not happening. We are available and information will be available to you. And thirdly and lastly, all this will be done within the Ministry of Health and the Commission protocols on COVID. So the signature verification exercise we have taken, we shall provide for that environment where the people will be working. We shall ensure their safety, but at the same time be able to deliver on that on the particular exercise. So thank you very much. We shall now proceed with the rest of the team. Mr. Masood here. You'll go upstairs and do the formalities. Okay, and also you saw we have been handed over the draft bill. We shall ensure that the bill which Kenyans signed for, the supporters signed for, is the same one as the one we have been handed over today, before the exercise commences.
Chairman, how much will you be asking for from the Treasury?
The management team will work out a budget, and that will now form our next briefing. We shall tell you how much has been asked for. We have been told there are 4.2 million signatures, 4.4. So the exercise will commence after we are given the budget. We don't know how long that will take. So in our next briefing and on commencement, we shall be able to estimate and give you a timing on how long the exercise will take.
Chairman, initially you were seeking for 14 million. Is that what you are anticipating?
Now, let me tell you this, and let's understand each other. This process has phases. The first phase now is to do signature verification. And so when we finish that, now we jump to the next phase, where the documents will go to the counties, okay? Then from there will be another phase where the bill will go to the National Assembly, to both houses. Then from there, the Commission will now be able to frame referendum questions, and lastly, then the referendum itself. So when we reach there, then we shall be able to tell you how much the Commission will require for purposes of carrying out the referendum. So it's a long process, it's a phase, and let's not jump from one stage to another. Yeah. Thank you very much, and from here, please let's proceed upstairs. The promoters will sign a declaration form, and the other formalities to undertake that the signatures have been properly and collected, and then we shall give you our next date of the briefing. And thank you, media for coming.
No.
Thank you very much.
Can we, please, in the interest of COVID, we are going to go up only with the promoters and the secretariat. Tuwangine tafadhali tungoje hapo kwa sababu ya corona. Bwana Mredhi, wewe sasa ingia siasa kama unataka kujua mambo ya hiyo.
Mtazamaji.
All right. Thank you so much. So that were the live images there from the IEBC headquarters there from Anniversary Towers. Last time I checked, I think that's where they still are. And of course, the signatures that were being collected for the BBI process there are being handed over to IEBC chairperson Wafula Chebukati. I've not seen him in a very long time, so Wafula has received those signatures, and according to the BBI secretariat, there are about 4.4 million signatures have been handed over to the BBI, to the IEBC, and among those signatures are those of President Uhuru Kenyatta, Right Honorable former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, the Secretariat itself, as well as party leaders. He said there are, I think, 10 parties in total, and also Kenyans who took their time to append their signatures so that this process could move to the next level. And of course, Deputy President's signature is not among those signatures that are being presented to the IEBC there today. And so, Chevan, you were to come in after we took that short break to allow for that live event to go on there. So one of the things there that Junet said earlier, remember that press conference they held earlier from the BBI Secretariat before they went to IEBC, was that, and what they said yesterday is that, and it is on the papers today, and Junet has reiterated that also today, the Secretariat also rejected the DP's call for multiple choice referendum, saying Kenyans will not vote on a bill, will vote on a bill and not a school examination, and Junet has reiterated that today as well. So what is your opinion on that?
Thank you, Miriam. And we, as you have seen and as our viewers have seen, we have really made a very big step on this BBI process. And that was what was happening even when we had the Guza Mizigo initiative. And this is a constitutional, it is on the cause of the law, and it's something that is on the right process. Therefore, it is amended in the constitution. And Miriam, as Junet have said, that those people who are not part of the process, who feel like this BBI process was a joke, then they have seen it for themselves that now we have moved to the next step. And as I was listening to Wafula Chebukati, the IEBC chairperson, he was saying that now they have gotten the signature, they will do the verification, then from there they will send it to the county assemblies until we culminate to a referendum. Therefore, this journey is on course. Now the train has already left the station and is quite manifested in even today's event. Therefore, as we move forward, we expect to see a lot of happening. And as Junet have said on the issue of having a bill to pass on, a yes or no kind of a referendum, that is what we want for this country. Because Miriam, when we subject Kenyans to that kind of a referendum where they have multiple choices to fill to fill in, then we might also bring a lot of confusion. We understand the kind of literacy level in this country, and we might have Kenyans being confused. And it is also a tiresome process for the IEBC. This will need more money to have all those ballot papers, and we are trying to save on the amount of money that should be used to carry out this referendum. Therefore, for those people calling for these multiple choices, they should also understand the factor of the money. And for them, I feel like they don't want money to be used at all. If we had zero tolerance referendum, then that is what would be the best for them and for this nation, if that is quite possible. Therefore, and something else, we cannot be able to count these things. It is impossible to count those things, and it will bring more confusion. And at the end of the day, we'll have a half-cooked, baked referendum that will be chaotic than the process of healing process that it intends to bring. That is my take on that, Miriam. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Now, Douglas, quite significant there, while the signature were being handed over, and Dennis Oweru, the former member of Parliament of Dagoretti South there, calling out, informing us whose signatures were there, and first were led by President Uhuru Kenyatta's signature himself, and then Raila Odinga and others who were penned, other Kenyans who appended the signatures, about 5.2. But after, I think, the BBI Secretariat weeding through, they were able to remain with about 4.4 million signatures. And of course, now they've been handed over for verification. But one important signature there is missing, and that is the signature of Deputy President William Ruto. And his signature is missing, which I think is quite profound. If I don't know from where you see it, if this is how significant this is. And at the same time, your signature is not there, but you still want us to change this document. Daniel, what is your reaction to that?
Miriam, I think it is a height of treachery for the deputy president. In life, I believe in the policy that you get what you bargain for, and therefore the deputy president, when the BBI process was being constructed from the 9-point agenda that emanated of the handshake, he gave it a wide berth. When the public participation forums were being conducted across the country, he gave it a wide berth. Only when the second bombers sitting over the BBI was happening is when he came, and he never came with a contribution to make. Rather, he came with some corrections that he wanted to be edited from the document, of which the conveners of the meeting were quite gentlemen, and they allowed it to happen. And after that, we proceeded on to signature collections, and I believed once now the views that he submitted and were considered were captured in the document, he will be able now to board the BBI train and be able to append his signature. However, that was not forthcoming as well. So to me, I think he cannot be purporting to be part of a document of which he does not even in the first place believe in. If he believed in the BBI, he would have appended his signature on that document. And with that, then we will be making changes on a document on which he had endorsed also. So to me, I think he lacks goodwill, and he's he's just behaving as an outsider to a document that seems to be so strange to him. And that is how he should be treated. And ultimately, Miriam, I think the deputy president should be allowed now, as it is, the way Juneta said, to spearhead the no campaign. And those who thought that BBI was not a reality, it turns out that day in, day out, the BBI process is moving towards its final stages. And I believe by the end of next year, we shall have it to fruition and have these recommendations being implemented. And that is why, you look at it wittingly, Miriam, that is why the deputy president, first of all, he rubbished the BBI report agenda, telling people that it will take root. When they started submitting those recommendations, he said he's going to champion and bring together his battalion so that they shoot it down. When that one also failed, he said now he wants to come on the table and able to also submit his recommendations. The BBI team was wise enough to allow him to not to give him an excuse of opposing it. They gave him a place on the table. He brought the recommendations that he wanted changed. They were changed. And thereafter, he woke up with another outrageous set of recommendations. I think the patience has run out, and also time is of constraint, and that is why we need to move forward.
Right. Thank you so much, Douglas. What do you think will be the meaning of this? Because a deputy president's signature is not part of the signatures that were presented there by the BBI Secretariat to the IEBC. Hakusign that he did not append his signature there, but on the other hand, he's been asking to be involved and for consensus in this document. I think I gave this example just a couple of days ago when we were talking about this in the world of gambling. I've never gambled, I don't know, but according to that song, very famous song by the late Kenny Rogers, God rest his soul, the gambler, you should know when to fold up, you should know when to walk away, and you should know when to, like the rules when it comes to gambling and you're taking a risk. Did you think from where you stand right now, Deputy President, do you think he beat more than he could chew? Douglas.
Yes, Miriam, thank you for that question. And from where I sit, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya ought to have done something that is very unpopular with his followers, but he would have redeemed his image also as a leader and also as a deputy to the President of the Republic of Kenya. We've seen Deputy President enter the annals of history as one of the most defiant Deputy President or Vice President, even across the world. We have never seen Mike Pence in the US trying to sabotage Donald Trump, even with his behaviors and all that. But one time, what I think that should have happened with the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya is that he should have been able to be a man enough when now he's supporting this process. He should have come out and said clearly, I have arrived on the scene, and where are those forms? After I signed this, I append my signature on these forms, and I need this amendment done on this document because it's a document now that I have changed my heart, I believe in it, and I will support it wholly. The Deputy President is trying to dilly-dally along the path, and also we don't know if he's supporting BBI and also if he is supporting the No Camp. At this point in time, when the Secretariat was taking the signatures, we should have been told this signature is coming from the Deputy President because it is very significant, Miriam. Including the call for consensus is not possible without his signature. I want to make sure I have done mine digitally and also physically so that when the forms will disappear, this soft copy will disappear. I'll make sure that the hard copy will get there. If the hard copy will not get there, so the soft copy will get there so that my voice will be heard in this constitutional moment, Miriam. The Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya comes out now as a man that is on a mission to sabotage the will of Kenyans and also the sovereign right of Kenyans to be able to do with their constitution what they would deem right for their country and also good for the progress of this nation. And I also believe, Miriam, for a better tomorrow and for progress, Deputy President William Ruto must be called out for who he is because he is misleading Kenyans. We have seen people like Musalia Mudavadi, people like Wetangula, people like Gideon Moi have appended their signatures as party leaders and the leaders in this nation. Where from the pedestal where the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya stands today, he stands from a point where he is not even at a vantage point when he can be able now to direct the people of Kenya because even his followers have started doubting his stand on the BBI process. And also we have seen people like Musalia Mudavadi who had issues with the BBI have come out and appended their signature and said, this is the way that we shall go. We have not seen the signature of the Deputy President, and he's calling for a consensus on a document that he doesn't believe that document that he doesn't want to vote for, because at this point in time, I don't even believe the Deputy President will come out on the day that there will be a referendum, since he says he calls for a consensus on a document that he has spent millions of shillings, Miriam, every day, every single day, hosting people using government resources at Karen and also meeting people in churches. Whereas there are rumors that those are rooted funds from government coffers that have been donated to churches until the church has been able to sleep on their job, until they forgot their sovereign right and also democratic right as a church to be earned in this constitutional moment. Miriam, this is a time in history that Kenyans must recon and also have a pact with themselves. They need to be able to come to terms with the kind of a leader that the Deputy President William Ruto is. We saw Wafula Wamunyinyi, who became the controversial party leader of Ford Kenya, append his signature. We saw small parties appending their signatures. Who is the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya not to append his own signature, Miriam? And now come lecture Kenyans about consensus and all that. Miriam, at this point in time, the only impediment to progress and inclusivity in this nation is the one Deputy President William Ruto. And I have said before, Miriam, without any bias and everything, we've seen people of goodwill in this country who have appended their signatures, people who have gone out to campaign for this document, whereas the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, on the other hand, has been spending his money fighting this process. He is now spending his money sabotaging this process to make sure it does not work. But there is a God in heaven who will listen to the cries of poor people who went out to sign the BBI forms so that they can be able to change the constitution of this nation to be able to move forward and also give the Kenyan youth a gift of the National Youth Commission that we can be able to come in future and be able to amend Miriam and also move forward as a nation, including William Ruto as he goes to oblivion and also retires from active politics, because Miriam at this point in time, history has gone ahead, signatures have gone ahead without him. He is left on the periphery of history. He is no longer as relevant as he thought, because those people who matter today have appended their signatures on the constitutional moment of this nation, and William Ruto will join other people who are opposing this document, Miriam. And of significant, before I end this thing on William Ruto has shown his followers his true colors. He's not a reformist because he has no alternatives. On the BBI process, he has not appended his signature to show support for the document that he has spent millions of shillings fighting, Miriam. And at this point in time, Kenyans can only wish the Deputy President all the best, because he doesn't like this country. He is not patriotic enough to be able to agree and also agree to a call for inclusivity. We've seen Kanu Party, we have seen other parties, and also we have seen a section of Jubilee leaders who have been misled by the Deputy President. But at this point in time, we can only pray for him. There is nothing we can do much, because signatures have gone, the train has left the station. He cannot be able to catch up again, Miriam.
All right, very well. So as we make our conclusion here, our last remarks here, one of the things there that the Secretariat said yesterday, and we've had Jeanette repeat it a while ago when they were at the BBI Secretariat before they headed over to the IEBC, and they said the Secretariat also rejected the DP's call for multiple choice referendum, saying Kenyans will vote on a bill and not a school examination. And this is their reasoning. Voters are not being sent back to an exam room. BBI has 78 issues. So that will mean that we'll have to have 78 questions, and they're saying we cannot have 78 questions. Kenya will vote on the bill. So BBI is addressing 78 questions. So if we were to take that option or that suggestion there by Deputy President William Ruto, then we'll have to have 78 multiple questions. That sounds like something I did very long time ago in primary school there. And they're saying that is practically impossible. So as we conclude, I'll start with you, Javan, just to respond to that. And also, what a move should we expect from the DP side at this point, moving forward?
Thank you very much. And I'll start with the move that we expect from the Deputy President camp. One, there's something that I stated sometimes back, that we expect to see the Deputy President, if we not come out to oppose the president, because I've said that he respects the president and his opinion. Therefore, he might play a card that is, he'll not be quite in public domain opposing the BBI process, but maybe he'll be sponsoring other teams and other quotas to oppose in his behalf. That is something that I see. But from the look of things, he'll continue opposing, because Miriam, some of his proposals have not been meant, and it's like he cannot support it when his proposals are not well guaranteed in the document. And one thing is about the multiple choice referendum, and that is something that is unrealistic as at the moment. Therefore, I expect the Deputy President, unless he wants maybe to clash with his boss openly or to defy him openly, that is the only time he will oppose the BBI process a full throat, and that is something that I see it will put him in a challenge with his boss, and he might be likely even to lose his Deputy President position, because that is a government agenda, and it will be quite unfair to see the president on this side and the Deputy President on this side, and they are working on the same government. And on the issue of the multiple choice referendum, I agree that Kenyans, that thing is not quite realistic at the moment. Maybe Miriam going in the future is something that we might give a trial. But as we stand now, let's go for this bill and we pass it, because Kenyans have already led. They know what they want. And Miriam, if you disagree, even in the Bible, there are some verses that are not quite good for us. When you read, you feel like they're addressing you directly. And you feel if you had a point to edit the Bible, the Quran, you could have removed some of these pieces. But we live with it, we trust it, because it's something that works for us. That's exactly what the Constitution does. Even in the US, in the other mature giant democracies, their Constitution is not 100% working for the people. There are some people who feel they have reservations on the document, but because it works for them, there's something that unites them. that is the factor that we need to use even the BBI, because it's bringing a factor of inclusivity, and we should not, that is something that should hold us together as a country, and we cultivate the culture of patriotism, because this Kenya is bigger for all of us, but it's not a small entity for few individuals.
All right.
Thank you.
Very well, thank you so much. Daniel, moving forward, what should we expect now, the reaction? Should we expect now which way for DP? Because right now, all avenues of changing that document lawfully has been closed unless something else happens and really surprises it. But as things, should things remain the way they are right now, are we expecting the DP to join his boss, as he said he's there to support his boss a couple of days ago, or will he now go and join Martha Karua there and lead the North team? What should you expect from his team moving forward?
Miriam, I would like to borrow a line from Mahatma Gandhi and say that the BBI is big enough for every Kenyan's need, but is not big enough for every Kenyan's greed. So for the Deputy President William Ruto, if he really values the people of Kenya, their agenda, their needs, and their aspirations for prosperity, equality, and equal representation, then he has to back the BBI agenda. But if he feels that he cannot be able to sit in the same on the same pew, his 2022 politics cannot be anchored on the chariot of progressive politics, of building a united Kenya and rallying people behind an agenda which is quite positive and which is meant to bequeath the prosperity of this country with a very robust economy, a peaceful and closely knit society. Then he has no other ways than go to the other camp that which will be opposing the referendum amendment changes. And as Javan has said, I believe it is within the Deputy President's greatest fears to oppose his boss, or maybe even to come to a head-on contest with the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga together with President Uhuru Kenyatta, amongst other opposition figurehead. Because that one, he knows it's a contest that he cannot win. It's a no mean feat, and especially when he's out of that particular docket and the prestige that comes with the office of the Deputy Presidency. So to me, I think the Deputy President should be quite honest. He either ships in or ships out, so that we have, at the end of the day, we have a very, very clear demarcation of who are supporting the BBI and who are not supporting the BBI. And I hope in so doing, they will also tell us reasons why they are not supporting the BBI agenda, and be objective in that. Because as far as I'm concerned, the BBI train has been quite clear on what they want to do for Kenyans. The points are clearly outlined, and even where they were not quite outlined properly, like in the section of the pastoralists and the tea and coffee farmers, they went ahead to really define it and bring it quite openly and clearly. So that is the kind of engagement that we wish to have. So let the battle lines be drawn. We have already submitted the signatures to IEBC for verifications. Soon after this process is done, the process will go to the county assemblies, come back to the two houses, and from there, Miriam, I'm sure we are going to have a referendum, and at the end of the day, majority of Kenyans who have a goodwill for prosperity of this country will carry the day, and that is my submit.
All right, very well. Thank you so much, Douglas. I don't know what you expect the DP will tweet, if at all he hasn't tweeted yet. I've not been on Twitter I don't know if he's tweeted the latest, but that is where he really communicates effectively on Twitter there. So I don't know if he's tweeted on today's events. I don't know if he's still calling for consensus. But I don't know, just buckling back a couple of days ago when some of the suggestions or some of the things that he had raised concern with during the second launch of the BBI there in October at the Bomas of Kenya, that surprisingly, even after the team had said, no, the door is shut, the train has left the station, but still a lot of the things that he had issues with were considered on this report that now has been presented to the IEBC. At that point, he tweeted that he was happy. Would that have been the right moment for the DP to save face and then after that, we saw him change a bit and not really commit to supporting the BBI process. Did he miss an opportunity then to save his face and join the team? And right now, is it too late? And maybe it's about time he eats a humble pie. And what should we expect from his side now moving forward? I know there's a lot of questions in one, but just attempt to answer that as we conclude. Douglas.
Miriam, thank you. I want to bring Kenyans to speed on what the Deputy President is trying to subject Kenyans into. Remember, there will be 17 questions in that multiple choice thing. And remember, Kenyans have been grappling with the 6 elections in a single day.
According to the BBI team, there are 78 issues to be addressed. So that will mean 78 questions.
Yes, thank you. One thing that we need to understand is that Kenya has been grappling with 60 strong elections, an MC will be elected, president and everything. But in most countries, what they do the presidential election and parliamentary election or senatorial, women rep and other elections are separated completely, especially the counties and the state elections are separated from the national election. Because a voter from Meru or any other part of the country will have 6 ballot papers to go and vote for that day. And we have seen that process is stretched even into the night. Another question is, are 78 questions possible in that ballot for Kenyans to go answering one by one for those questions? Are you going to vote for this? Yes. Or are you going to vote for this? And the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya does not even remember some of our parents, the last time they left school and they would want to be subjected into that question is when some of them came for clinic day in our primary schools. When we are finishing school, that is when they will be taken through that exam to be shown how we are performing. And most of people, I'm speaking for my 2 mothers, they're educated, but they cannot have time for 78 questions because Deputy President feels that they need to be subjected into that. The millions of Kenyans are subjected to their signatures, want to vote for a bill, they want to vote for yes or no. What the Deputy President is doing is not practically possible because I don't think even my mother can take 5 questions without thinking about her cows and her farm. So this thing of Deputy President trying to go and fixing Kenyans into a mess that we cannot be able to get ourselves into is a process that has been read and also spearheaded by a saboteur, a deviant Deputy President, a Deputy President who doesn't care about others, who cares about alone becoming President of the Republic of Kenya. Remember, the same mothers and the same women and the hood people that he is subjecting into a 78 question referendum, multiple choice referendum, are the same people who punish him in 2022 and deny him presidency because he cannot take it by force. The will of Kenyans must be respected on how they are going to vote. Kenyans have voted yes or no in 2005 for a constitution. Kenyans voted yes or no for a constitution in 2010. What is different with this BBI process that is not calling for a complete overhaul of this constitution, Miriam? What is different from 2005? What is different from 2010? The Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya has shown through the eyes of poor people, rich people, middle-class people of this nation that he does not care about this country. All he cares is about his presidential ambition. And what I think he's going to do from this point in time is going to maybe tweet about how he is going to at one time continue calling for consensus, still calling people reasonable people, and also trying to rubbish that. But at this point in time, the signatures are at IBC. So I think that, again, the Deputy President from this kind of a perspective will be an affix. The Deputy President might call his troops and tell them they support this thing, but he stays away. Or he may choose to go full throttle and continue fighting this process because we also know now the hypocrisy of the Deputy President has been revealed to the country. There is no signature that belongs to William Ruto and is a vast of majority of the leaders that follow him every day. So Miriam, we are in a kind of a dilemma for the Deputy President camp and also himself. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know where to go. What he is going to do now are going to be tantrums of people, undemocratic tendencies and all that. But remember, even ODM yesterday, the largest party in Africa, was denied a chance to form new amendments on this document. And ODM now has accepted and moved on. So we ask for the Deputy President to also move on because also there are people, the church also was denied more changes because they have had over 2 years, Miriam, for them to submit this signature. So a call for consensus was sealed yesterday. Even ODM itself with the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, the former Prime Minister himself, his own party gave a raft of issues that they wanted incorporated in the BBI report. But now we are coming to a time where the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya cannot be able to come out clearly on what he wants. And we are now at a time when he cannot be able to tweet more about consensus because we can no longer have a consensus. The door has been shut. We have moved forward. So the only Deputy President is left with is to call his supporters for a press conference and tell them he is going for a no camp. And that is where he fits because for over 2 years, I don't think how he is going to recoup his millions on how he has been spending fighting the BBI process. The only way he can recoup his losses is finding closure in the no camp because at this point in time, even the process itself, he doesn't believe in it. Medium, as I conclude, there is no signature from his end. There is no signature from his people. So the call for a consensus, there is no way he can call for a consensus on our own issues and proposals that we took to IPC.
All right.
There is no way he can subject our own proposals to a consensus for referendum not to take place. For signatures that over 4 million Kenyans gave that they didn't even contribute into asking people to move out. We have seen Gideon Moi asking Kenyans to sign in Bomet, in Embu. We've seen people from Kanu in Meru. We've seen people from Fort Kenya and Na Kenya, all parties in Kenya except Deputy President William Ruto, who has decided to go to the no camp, and we wish him the best, and it cannot make him a lesser Kenyan medium. And also, those who say that when we tell the Deputy President to go to the no camp, talks about we are not talking about inclusivity. We are talking about inclusivity because it is his democratic right, Miriam. Okay. It is his democratic right and sovereign right to be able to vote where he wants to vote and also read a section of his forwards where he wants to. And thank you so much for having me on the show.
All right.
Asante san.
Yeah, and still say hello to your people there. Thank you so much. You've said ODM is the biggest party in Africa. I thought that would be ANC, NRM, Apa Ile Museveni, or Chama cha Mapinduzi Tanzania. I'm not sure, but thank you so much for that. And
that is a political statement, Miriam.
Oh, you're too political. So yesterday, the Party of National Unity endorsed the Building Bridges initiative ahead of course, today's presentation. This is from the papers, of course, that has been overtaken by the events. And also as well, yesterday, the High Court declined to stop the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission from receiving signatures for the draft Constitution Amendment Bill 2020, which would have put a stop to the referendum. A Kenyan in the United States had petitioned the court to bar the Electoral Commission from receiving or verifying the signatures collected by the Building Bridges Initiative Secretariat, arguing that diaspora voters have been sidelined. So he was saying, Mr. Gitau, his name is Mr. James Gitau, and he was saying in his petition that over the years, Kenyans living abroad have begged, pushed, and fought for their right to vote, insisting that such a right is guaranteed in the Constitution. And I think he has a point, only that I don't think Kenya, our structures are there yet. That will bring a lot of confusion and will just add to the already confused, process that we have. We're still trying to figure it out. So if we were to have and he has a point in what he's saying, but I don't know if our electoral process and where we are right now as a democracy, I don't know if we are there yet, where we can mail in votes and it will be okay. It will be more chaotic than Trump, I trust and believe. All right, thank you so much. So this has been the People's Court on earlier there. Of course, we went live to the BBI Secretariat, where they started by giving a press conference, and then they headed over and handed the signatures that were collected from Kenyans there to the IEBC. They had collected about 5.2 million signatures, but only 4.4 million signatures have been handed to the IEBC, and of course IEBC will be able to verify those. So out of that, they are hoping they will remain with 1 million or over that is required, so that process could start. And also, as IEBC chairperson there, Wafula Chebukati, let us know that the process, it's a long process. So handing over the signatures is that is just the first phase. Now they'll go and verify, and then the document will have to be taken back to the counties, and the bill will have to go back to the National Assembly, and then it will go back to the IEBC so that they're able to frame the questions for the bill. So it's a lot going, and we shall be here to keep you up to date. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Douglas Kirimi. Thank you, Dano Wesonga. And also thank you, Jevan Karanja, for your time today. We shall see our viewers tomorrow for another show, even as we bring them up to date. And perhaps by then, the Deputy President would have tweeted something, so we will know what he thinks about these new developments. My name is Miriam Ogutu. Bye-bye for now.
must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.